Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Backcourt Press or MVP Productions, whatever you want to say. I'm going to be your host today, Hunter Mennick, as you already know, and today I'm going to be talking about more present day NBA like talk and analysis and everything like that. I did another one a couple of days ago on just the different things going on in the NBA right now, whether it was I believe last time I talked about, I got it right here actually, Wiggins and the Denver Nuggets were the main two talks and media attention. But got a couple notes down from the other day when I watched some games, so I want to just do a quick little talk about some of the stuff that I noticed. I'm wearing my D'Angelo Russell Golden State Warrior jersey because I'm a Golden State Warrior fan. D'Lo is my favorite player, and he hit a game winner for the Minnesota Timberwolves the other night. So props to him. That's why I put the jersey on. Just want to throw that out there before I start. Follow me on Instagram at Backcourt Press, at Twitter, Backcourt Press _ subscribe to my YouTube, like, and comment any thoughts that you have on any of the stuff I'm going to talk about today. So without further ado, let's get right into it. The first note that I have, I'm mainly going to be talking about two teams today, and that's going to be the Charlotte Hornets and the Washington Wizards, because I watched that's the main game I watched. I believe it was 2 nights ago now, maybe. No, actually, it was just yesterday on Super Bowl Sunday. Shout out to Tom Brady for being the greatest athlete of our generation. It's incredible, his dominance and just pure talent and leadership on the football field. I just had to get that out there because 7 rings, it's crazy. Yeah, but I watched the Hornets Wizards game a lot because I wanted to see what Bradley Beal did against the Charlotte Hornets, a team that's not that great defensively. And wow, the Wizards could not guard anyone. First note I have is the Hornets off-ball movement and chemistry is fantastic. LaMelo Ball in starting lineup has really opened up the ball, like everything for everyone. His passing ability is way superior than anything Devontae Graham or Terry Rozier has ever been. His length, I mean, I remember this one play, he went on Raul Neto and just shot over him. Like he just jumped over him, shot it, and then I think he did like the thing where you put your hand to the ground, like baby, and then like the Russell Westbrook stuff. But I mean, the Wizards or the Hornets, they just look fantastic out there. And PJ Washington coming back is huge. And I believe Cody Zeller just torched Alex Len this entire game. It was hilarious to see how bad the interior defense is for Washington to a guy like Cody Zeller, who's never been good. But the Hornets can find a good center. And one fit I think is fantastic for them would be an Andre Drummond type player or Jared Allen, depending on which one the Cavaliers look to build around. Or whichever one the Cavs don't look to build around, would be a great fit. I was actually talking to my buddy Zach, who I run the podcast with, and I said, imagine if Bradley Beal got traded to the Wizards for like Terry Rozier and Malik Monk and like 3 first-round picks. Yeah, well, Melo and Bradley Beal. Then you got Gordon Hayward, PJ Washington, and then they also signed Andre Drummond in the offseason because they have money. Just something I thought about. I think that'd be a fun lineup. And no, but LaMelo's just presence on the court, his 3-point ability is something that a lot of people were worried about. You cannot be worried about it anymore. I know it's just his rookie year, and LaMelo's rookie year was when it came to shooting, and then he got worse somehow. I got to give it to LaMelo, man. He's had a great start to the season. He looks to be the rookie of the year. He's kind of running away with it. Unless Tyrese Haliburton can carry the Kings to the playoffs, which Tyrese is a player, man. But no, LaMelo's exactly what the Charlotte Hornets team needed. Yeah, I have my next thing was Hornets scored at ease. I mean, Gordon Hayward, these backdoor cuts that Gordon Hayward and some of the guys were doing, even the Martin brothers were looking great. Miles Bridges, his chemistry coming off the bench for that team and just being the energy guy is fantastic. He can get them a bucket whenever they need. The Charlotte Hornets have one of the coolest, like the coolest young core in the league right now with PJ Washington, Miles Bridges, and LaMelo. And even I guess you could throw Devontae Graham and Terry Rozier in there since they're both young too. And the Martin brothers, I don't see them staying in the league for much longer or being like actual role pieces for a good team if the Hornets are looking to be a good team eventually. But Hornets looked good tonight or yesterday, and it was good to see. It's good to see a team that didn't have a lot of media attention last year get it, especially with LaMelo, being the king of media this season. Next, the Washington Wizards. Scott Brooks needs to be fired immediately. And this doesn't even have to do with their offense or defense. Yesterday when they were playing the Charlotte Hornets, the Wizards were out of timeouts with 2 minutes left in the third quarter. I don't care how bad a team's losing. If you're down by 50 and you really think that you can make a comeback, there is absolutely no excuses to have no timeouts going into the fourth quarter. I've never seen that before in my ever being an NBA fan, and I bet you a lot of people who are going to watch this haven't either seen that either. So Scott Brooks, his he's not progressing his young guys. He's not winning basketball. His defensive strategy or whatever the hell he thinks he's doing defensively is god awful. Bradley Beal, I mean, you look, that team has no movement. Whenever someone touches the ball, whether it's like Russell Westbrook or Bradley Beal, the players around just stand there. I think Garrison Matthews came into the game, who's a player who's just on, I think, on a two-way contract, who's trying to make the team. And I see Bradley Beal get the ball, and I just see four guys standing on the perimeter watching Bradley Beal work. Get Bradley Beal some guys that will move the ball and like play actual team basketball. And Scott Brooks he's just obviously not doing a great job with it. Obviously that team's what, 4-15, 4-14. I mean, they're god awful. And when you have Russell Westbrook, who's been a player his entire career, that no matter how bad he plays, that team's going to be a playoff team. I believe in my preseason predictions, I had them at the eighth seed in the East because they were the ninth seed last year. And then they added Russell Westbrook to replace a John Wall who hasn't played for them for 2 years. And somehow that made them worse. And I don't think it is Russell Westbrook. I think you give that team some defense because Davis Bertans is awful defensively. Rui Hachimura just gets blocked, but I think Rui still has a lot of potential, but he's not good defensively right now. Alex Len, Thomas Bryant, these guys are not good defenders. And Bradley Beal's not a good defender. Russell Westbrook's a good, I'd say, off-ball defender where he can read passing and everything, but this team needs a whole wipe, honestly, or they just need a coaching change in the center. I can't really tell which one it's going to be, but with Russell Westbrook getting older and Bradley Beal being a top 20 player in the league this season, I did not say top 15 because I don't think he is top 15. I just don't like this Scott Brooks fit right now, and the way he's coaching is just very, very bad. So this team's going to want to do anything and try and make the playoffs and keep Bradley Beal around. Let's change the coaching staff. Let's see what happens then. Because if they start losing, then you have a reason to trade Bradley Beal. But, I mean, no timeouts, 2 minutes left in the third. Oh, my God, that's terrible. So those are the two main teams I want to talk about, the Charlotte Hornets and the Washington Wizards, because I watched most of that game. I had the Temple basketball game that I had to watch right towards the end of it. So the other game I watched was the Suns Celtics game. And really all I have to say about that game is Peyton Pritchard going 26th in the draft is fantastic for that Celtics team. He is bringing valuable minutes to that team, which is, I love to see that. Another thing from that game is Kemba Walker came back from an Achilles injury. Him and Kevin Durant came back from the same injury, and they both look like they never lost a step. And I mean, we've seen that kind of injury ruin people's careers in the past, and just no one knows how to come back from that injury. And these two players have done it extremely well, and KD and Kemba. So props to them. Props to Kemba for being a short guy and still just being able to get buckets over anyone. I love to see that, only being a small point guard myself. And then Jason Tatum's offensive package is amazing. He takes some bad shots sometimes, but when they go in, you just have to just admire how good he is. And wow, the Sixers messed up by drafting Markelle Fultz. Sorry, Zach Finchie. I know you're a big Sixers fan. The next thing I have down is I want to talk about the Utah Jazz a little bit. Mike Conley did not play, and Donovan Mitchell's passing ability. I believe yesterday he finished with 11 assists. Yep, he almost had a triple-double. He had 27, 9, and 11. And 5 turnovers. Obviously, when you're a shooting guard running point guard, it's not great, but some of his passes to Rudy Gobert and just hit Bojan Bogdanovic to kick it out after driving in was fantastic. The way Donovan Mitchell can control the floor, he really has to start getting looked at as a superstar type player. If this team's going to be as dominant as they are, 19-5. Ending with 11 assists, he shot 25 times and led his team in scoring. You should, if you shoot the ball 25 times. But the Indiana Pacers team has really fallen off since they made that trade for Caris LeVert, just because Caris LeVert hasn't played for them. So Jeremy Lin's not going to be a Caris LeVert type player, so we would expect that. But this is still a competent team and not a team that you would expect to win almost every quarter against. And the Utah Jazz did that. And I haven't been a big Utah Jazz fan this season, only because of the fact that they're living, dying by the three. And when you do that without a player like Steph Curry, you're kind of crazy. or James Harden. But Donovan Mitchell's been shooting the ball from three very efficiently. Mike Conley was out this game, and Donovan Mitchell stepped up and played a great point guard game, and they won the game. Rudy Gobert's rebounding ability and defense is still underlooked. I mean, he's doing the same exact stuff this year as he did when he won Defensive Player of the Year. No one's even talking about that, and this is the best team in the NBA record-wise. So shout out to Donovan Mitchell for just continuously progressing. I've always seen him as like a young Dwayne Wade, and I think he has incredible potential to be like just a superstar in this league. And if the Utah Jazz find success, win an MVP in his career. But I want to talk about that. And without Mike Conley even being there, they still beat the Pacers because of, honestly, Donovan Mitchell's playmaking ability. That's it with that team. I'm trying to see what other games I watch. Oh, Tyrese Haliburton's a stud. De'Aaron Fox is going so under the radar, putting up incredible games every single week. But Tyrese Haliburton had 13 and 6 last night on good efficiency, and he just controls games. I believe he hit the game winner actually against this. I might be wrong on that. I know he's hit like a clutch dagger shot in the past couple of days, and he's just come into the league and been so professional. And I wish that the Knicks had drafted him to go along Emmanuel quickly, because them two together at point guard, shooting guard would be beautiful to watch. Which leads us right into the next team I want to talk about, which is the New York Knicks to finish off this video. They just traded Dennis Smith Jr. and a 2021 second-round pick for Derrick Rose, which confuses me. As a kind of D Rose fan, he was the first basketball shoes I ever got. Thank you, shout out to my dad for that. But I wore those. The D Rose, they were all red. I don't even remember the name of that, which ones they were, but I wore those for like 3 straight years from like 7th to 10th grade, and or 7th to 9th grade, and I loved those shoes. But the Knicks trading for me reunites with Tom Thibodeau. That's always cool to see, the guy who ruined his career. But why? That's my question. I think all NBA fans wanted to see Derrick Rose go to a contending team and put in valuable minutes for a team like the Clippers. There were Lakers rumors last year. There were Miami Heat rumors. Milwaukee. Every top-notch team could have used a slashing guy like Derrick Rose, and he goes to the New York Knicks again to play under Tom Thibodeau. Obviously, the last time they didn't have this lineup, so I'm not going to say anything about the last time he was on the Knicks, because that little stretch of teams that he played for in the Cavs and the Knicks, it was horrendous. So it was also because like Dwayne Wade couldn't succeed there, an old Dwayne Wade, but like we're not going to talk about that. So reuniting with this team, I think he should hopefully take minutes away from Elfrid Payton, which is well needed to take away minutes from Elfrid Payton, because he's been playing just horrendously offensively. Not his passing, but just his shot selection and shot creating has just not been good. So hopefully he can take some minutes away from him. Please don't take minutes away from Emmanuel quickly. He's such a good facilitator, and I'd love to see quickly and learn from Derrick Rose, because he's a player that has already got the floater game. He's got some explosiveness and passing. If he learns clutchness and how the NBA can be run through a guy like Derrick Rose, Emmanuel quickly is going to be a player one day. And I just really hope this team has an abundance of point guards now, if you're looking at it, because you got quickly Austin Rivers and Elfrid Payton. Julius Randle runs a point guard half the time for this team, and now Derrick Rose adding on to it. So I don't know what this rotation is going to be. Tibbs isn't going to be able to play guys 38 minutes a game unless it's all-star Julius Randle. Please vote him in. Man's had 26, 7, and 13 last night. I mean, come on. He is a undoubted all-star this season. But they really messed up by drafting Obi Toppin over Tyrese. And I think Zach and I both called that when it happened. We knew they would take Obi Toppin, but we knew Tyrese was going to be a better player. So far in their career, it's turned out to be that way. Last thing I want to talk about the Knicks is Alec Burks is a walking bucket off the bench. If he were to take Jordan Clarkson type shots, I think he would be in the running for 6 Man of the Year right now. Jordan Clarkson is averaging like 19 points per game, but he's shooting like 15 to 20 shots a game. Tonight, Alec Burks shot 5 for 9, 3 for 6 from 3. But when I was watching the closing minutes of the Miami Heat game, he hit some clutch threes, and his jumper is so smooth. I loved him when he was on the Warriors, I believe a year ago now. And then we got him to the Sixers. I don't know why the Sixers didn't use him more. Now he's on the Knicks. But the Knicks are a team on the uprise, and seeing Alec Burks he just hits his shots. He creates, he catches and shoots. He can do everything for this team. And if a guy like RJ Barrett tonight, I don't think he played the whole game, or he must have. Oh, he might have gotten hurt. I didn't know. I'm looking at the stat sheet right now. He only had 19 points last night. But Alec Burks needs to be in their late game situations, and especially if a guy like RJ is not playing well, or Alfred Payton shot 3 for 12. Shout out to Reggie Bullock for shooting 14 threes and making 7 of them. That's pretty funny. But last night, Miami Heat took the win over the Knicks. Good win for Miami. Need to get back on the upwards trend. Kendrick Nunn started over Tyler Hero. Kendrick Nunn's not that good of a player. I know he shot 6 for 11 and 16 points last night, but he's not that good of a player, and the Knicks just shot the ball very poorly. But the Knicks are a team on the uprise, and seeing them trade for Derrick Rose is very weird because I was hoping Derrick Rose could go to a competitor, which I guess the Knicks right now are a competitor in the East, but not this season. They won't be. In a couple seasons, I could see if they keep progressing these young guys, and people will want to sign with guys like Julius Randle and RJ Barrett. Because the culture they've brought to New York has been fantastic this season, at least. And so I could see the Knicks being good in the next couple of years, but put Derrick Rose in contender. Let's see playoff Derrick Rose. We've been wanting it for so long now when he's been on the Pistons. It's really all I got to say about last night. If I look at any other scores and see if I got anything else. Yeah, Tyrese Haliburton's a stud, and they just beat the Clippers. So that's pretty funny too. Thank you guys all for watching. Backcourt Press. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. And this was fun. Peace out.